The European Association of Peace Operations Training Center is meeting for the 7th year here in Belgrade to explore and exchange our views and knowledge and experience and expertise on how to best prepare our men and women peacekeepers. I think it's a wonderful gathering of organizations, committed countries, committed individuals, striving to develop the best standards and best concepts to ensure that the men and women, civilian, military and police that we send to these places are also not put in harm's way to the extent possible.
We had a number of panel discussions. First one was about peacekeeping intelligence. The concept is still under development, and what we as training centers, what we need from the UN is what are the training parameters, what are the training models in order to respond to this new demand or new challenge.
The purpose of peacekeeping intelligence is really to support the leadership in making decisions to implement the mandate in peacekeeping missions. The sources are multiple. The key in the UN is that it's non-clandestine. It's not about undercover operations. It's really about using the information around in order to help the leadership in interpreting the mandate.
We had a panel discussion about conflict analysis and mediation skills training for the peacekeepers. It is not enough to negotiate or to mediate between political and military leaders. It is very often a peacekeeper on the ground who is expected and asked to mediate, to control, mitigate, resolve communal conflict, to address the problems at the grassroots level.
Everyone in the missions should be trained on mediation skills. Different tools for how to do a mediation between actors, but also negotiation skills, dialogue skills, how to manage emotions, for example. And it's also very much about managing yourself, knowing how you could best interact with all different types of actors.
There was a very interesting panel about online training, and it was a frank discussion about strengths, but also weaknesses of the online training.
We use online training as a means of providing information to people, to establishing a common platform, and we then test that when they arrive on course. And we use our course time for experiential activities where people need to work together to come to solutions to problems where there's a requirement for interaction or teamwork.
If we create a shared platform, online platform that keeps the link and maintains the contact between the pool of expertise that was chosen for senior mission leaders, I think we would have a very good repository of experience, repository of resources, which would be very much at use when the time frame, as we said, is short and the time for action is now.
Probably the most interesting discussion for everyone was about cybersecurity.
90% of all the attacks are based on the human error. The problem with big systems such as ministries or international organizations is they have particularly sensitive files. There is a huge interest of various parties to get to those data. And in these sort of rush moments where we might need a mobile phone to check an email, communicate with someone, we might easily make a mistake. We might use a Gmail account instead of official one, which might be protected. And these are particularly risky situations. And I guess the training is the only thing that you can actually help people be more cautious when they're acting online.
The last panel was about mission leadership training. Every peace operation nowadays is integrated mission. It has a military component, it has a police component, it has a different civilian components, from the political to civil affairs to human rights to rule of law, security sector reforms. So how to integrate the training, because they have to act as a team.
Success or failure of peacekeeping missions depends obviously on many factors, but leadership on all levels is a very important issue. And here, the EAPTC, as well as the European Association, has a very important role in providing new training and new material that responds to the changing environment.
This was the first annual conference of the European Association Centers, which was attended by the delegation from the OSCE. Training which we are running must be adjusted to their needs and requirements in order to have an effective input. The main purpose of this meeting was to improve coordination and cooperation among all the European peace training centers. There is a need to look again at the association, its role and purpose. Nature of the conflict change, international environment change. We also have to respond to this. Another purpose of this meeting was to align the activities of the European Association with the activities of the International Association, which is overall umbrella for all these training centers.
EAPTC was started 25 years ago by the Canadians at the Pearson Centre, and it was designed to bring those involved in peacekeeping training together and to discuss the many issues that are involved. It's involved, the last conference we had over 250 delegates, but what you have to understand is quite often a peacekeeping training centre will be the only national institution of its kind in a country. So it's an opportunity to bring together everyone involved in training or peace operations to one place to discuss the many issues.
We organized at the beginning of the conference Ideas Bazaar. There were 22 institutions which presented their program, their work, their products. It helps to build the cooperation and also to improve the coordination between them. In the Cyber Lab, we wanted to present new technologies which could be applied by the peacekeepers, but even if they're not applied, can influence the way peace operations are run. We had a virtual reality film, we had an augmented reality film, also 3D printers showing what you can do actually on the spot. We had some hackers to show the vulnerabilities in the system, especially when it comes to data protection. I expect that there will be a number of joint exercises jointly organized by different centers from different countries, and also better coordination so to avoid the overlap and also to address all the needs and requirements. Everybody is coming out of this conference with some answers and new questions. They want to stay in touch and discuss it further. In that sense, this conference fulfills its purpose 100%.